Hello everybody and welcome back to my podcast, Esme's Country Life. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how a bit of my cottage is starting to fall apart, also how we had an emergency services vehicle turn up on the farm, and also an update on my puppy, Fossey. But anyway, before we begin, I just want to say a huge thank you to the sponsor of the podcast, Red Post. Red Post is an equestrian and country store based in the UK, but they also ship all over the world. And when this podcast episode goes out, it is Black Friday weekend, and that is the time to do your Christmas shopping for your friends, for your family. And Red Post, they have it all. They have equestrian gear, they have country gear. If you need some nice warm clothes for the winter, they've got it. And also, they do pet stuff as well. So, friends and family have a dog. Like I now have a dog. Very, very exciting. I know I keep going on about it. You can get all of your bits and bobs at redpostequestrian.co.uk. And yes, check out their Black Friday because it is for a limited time only. And once the deals are gone, they are gone. But anyway, let's get into today's episode because I have a lot to update you on. A lot has happened, especially as I've been keeping Fossey, my puppy, a little bit of a secret. So I have lots of Fossey stories that I have not yet been able to tell, which I can tell you now. But actually, first, let's go for a little rewind because, yeah, as I said before in the intro, my bit of my cottage is falling apart. So much so that I had a big accident. I had a big accident. It was not fun. It was not fun. So the other day, I was in my cottage. I was being super organised. Start of the week, I was like ready to go. My dad very kindly was looking after Fossey for me so I could sort my life out because when you have a puppy, especially when you are a single parent puppy owner like myself, although saying that his grandparents, aka my mum and dad, have been a big help. So huge thank you to them. But anyway, my mum and dad very kindly had Fossey for an hour or two for me just so I could go home, do my washing, sort out my life. I was going to go to the gym as well because that's one thing I like for my mental health. I am somebody that needs to do physical exercise and go to the gym. It just calms down my brain. So anyway, I was like I'm on lack of sleep. It was just, it's one of those days where like just so many things have gone wrong. You've got lack of sleep because you have a puppy crying every night and you're waking up in the night to take them to the toilet. And it was like it was the final straw of said day. Don't get me wrong. Everything in my life is going very well. I'm very, very lucky. But when you just have those days where it's just like, not this, no. Anyway, yes, I was like, okay, I'm going to be super organised. I might be feeling tired. I might be feeling demotivated, but I'm going to put my laundry away, put my washing away. So anyway, I was like, put on some upbeat tunes. Actually do you know what I sometimes have like an album of the week. Well, this week's album of the week to pep me up on lack of sleep is 2010's Club Classics. If you know, you know. But anyway, so actually, oh my gosh, sorry. I think Fossey has just done. Oh, he's let off some gas. Oh my gosh, that's just hit my nostrils. Do you think I need to take? Is that you? No, Daphne? Oh my gosh. No, that smells like your.
It's not me.
It smells like one of your ones, Dad. Sorry about that. The dog made some bad smells and I was just worried that I needed to take him out to the toilet once again. And he's already been 3 times today for a number 2. Being an M&O, there's always more in there than you expect. Moving on. So, back to listening to my 2010s Club Classics. One of the other reasons why that has been my album of the week, or why I've been listening to that, is because Fossey is getting used to being in the car. At first, he would whinge a little bit or whine a little bit when he first goes in the car because, it's a moving vehicle. It's a little bit scary. He doesn't know where he's been taken, especially as normally when we're travelling, it's in the dark because we just have no light. Now it's the winter in the UK. So I thought, I'll put some upbeat tunes on. So anyway, he's been, dancing around to a bit of Pitbull in my car, a bit of Mr. Worldwide. Anyway, so I was in the cottage putting away my washing. And one of the reasons why I was doing that then, while Fossey wasn't there, because he thinks the washing is a fun game. He loves my underwear. It's not great. Anyway, that sounds bad. But anyway, so I was putting away my washing. I go to open my wardrobe. Now, bear in mind, if you've seen my cottage renovation videos or series, you'll know these wardrobe doors, they were old wardrobe doors that were re-put on and refitted to be nice, put back in. So it's not like they're newish. They've been recently refitted. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. So I had the biggest shock in my life when I opened the wardrobe door and the whole thing went crashing down onto my forehead, smacked me on the head. I went flying onto the ground with this wardrobe door on top of me. And I was just laying there on the floor, stunned, thinking, goodness me, I'm glad the puppy wasn't with me, because he would have been totally knocked out if that door had landed on him as well. And then, honestly, it was such a shock and so much pain that I actually cried. Now, I would say I've got a pretty high pain tolerance. But I think it was the shock of the door coming down, the lack of sleep. I was just there, tears rolling down my eyes. And then in a state of panic, like everyone does, you ring your parent. So I rang my dad being like, my wardrobe door has just knocked me on the head and it really hurts and I'm tired. And just, you just had those days where it feels like everything's falling apart. It was one of those days. So anyway, my wardrobe door is now still hanging off in my cottage, but it's fine. I've been working around it. I do need to get it fixed. But right now, that is very low on the priority list because it has been a busy week getting everything done. But anyway, so yes, I had a lovely big bruise on my forehead. You can't see it because number one, I am wearing makeup. And number two, luckily it didn't go like I was expecting it to be. Bright purple. I was expecting to be like, those Looney Tunes, like cartoons where they have like a big old egg on their forehead. That's literally what it felt like. It honestly didn't even look that bad. But it's still tender, when you press on it, you can feel it a little bit. It's just a little bit nasty. Anyway, so yes, that was biggest shock of the week. That was probably my worst moment of the week, having a whole wardrobe door slam down onto your forehead. So yeah, that scared the living daylights out of me. Anyway, I could have very easily that evening gone into a slump, been tired, just been like, you know what, sack the day off. I'm just going to sit down and watch telly. But what did I do? I got my butt back up off the floor, got into my gym gear, went down to the gym, had a great workout, felt great afterwards. I needed it for my mental health. Anyway, went back, picked up the pup, had a lovely evening with him. It was a great day in the end. So if you're having a day where it just feels like, you know what, everything's gone wrong, I can't do this anymore, I'm just going to give up for the day, it's okay. You can have those days, but also, it goes to show, just, sometimes you just need to slap yourself around the face, not with a wardrobe door, and be like, okay, I need to get my butt in gear. I still want to do the things I want to do. I can do it. Just going to have 5 minutes to have a little cry, wash my face, and I'm back and I'm a new woman. Anyway, so there we go. That's the moral of the story for today. Now it's on to the next story because there is always something chaotic happening. So I was riding in the arena on Casper the other day, riding along, la-di-da, having a great time, doing some canter work with him, having a blast. He was feeling really good. Lovely jubbly. Then my dad gets a phone call and is like, I just need to take this, you'll be all right, riding on old reliable Casper in the arena, while I just pop round the corner, because when I'm riding, my parents always like to be there with me, just in case something goes wrong, So anyway, it's riding along, and then, so my dad disappears off around the corner. I have no idea what this phone call's about. I thought it was like a work phone call, maybe with one of the sponsors, I don't know, something like that. Maybe it was a mate. I don't know. Maybe it was his parents. He has a lot of phone calls. Davide is a busy man. So anyway, he goes around the corner to take this phone call. I'm riding around. And then I see a 4x4 that's bright, luminous yellow turn up and roll up the driveway. So the way that our arena is kind of situated, you can see the driveway, but only like just about. So I saw this, what I thought, well, it kind of was. I was like, oh my gosh, it's an emergency services vehicle. So the first thing I think, it's the police and someone's done something illegal and I'm going to be taken to prison. I don't know why. I promise I haven't done anything illegal. I'm a very good girl. I abide by the law, but for some reason that was the first thing that came into my mind. And then I thought, no, I've not done anything illegal. Oh my gosh, something's happened to my mum. So then I was thinking if something bad happens, the police, they turn up and they're like, oh, I'm really sorry to say that like this happened to your loved one. I've watched too many true crime documentaries recently. So anyway, that was the next thing that came into my mind. And I thought, oh my gosh, something's happened to my mum. And then the emergency vehicle gets closer and closer down the driveway and I can see a little bit better. Also, bear in mind, I am cantering on Casper in the arena. So I only get little glimpses as I go down the long side of the arena, and then, I'm not facing the right way. And I look a little bit closer, and then I see it says wildlife kind of safety, wildlife trust kind of thing on it. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's strange. Like, maybe they're here for the chickens, because I know there's a lot of bird flu going on at the moment, so maybe they're coming to talk to us about that. And then I see that there's a big old trailer on the back of this vehicle, and I'm thinking maybe they're doing like an animal kind of, release, and they're gonna like ask if they can do like an animal release on our farm, because we get like a lot of deer that come through and badgers and foxes and goodness knows what. So I thought maybe they've come onto our driveway to ask if they can do an animal release. I had like all these weird things going through my brain. Do you know what it was? My dad needed a trailer and he bought one online, and I'm not gonna lie, the trailer looks so dodgy because it's like got like a white roof, but it has no windows, so it looks really creepy. I'm like, anything could be happening in that trailer. Anyway, so my dad bought a trailer and I had no idea, and it was just the person dropping it off happened to work for like a wildlife safety kind of thing. So I had all of those, panic mode thoughts, like, oh, it could be this bad thing could have happened, this bad thing could have happened, when it's literally my dad just bought something online and they were just dropping it off. So very anticlimactic, yeah. But anyway, so yeah, that's another little story. Casper, who he actually is quite scared of trailers. If we're going on a hack and a trailer goes by, that's probably on Casper's tier list of things that are scared, that is the top tier scariest thing, is a trailer that rattles. The worst one are the like proper agricultural ones that have like sheep or cattle in. Oh my goodness. No. Very scary. After that, we have tractors, particularly combine harvesters or anything with moving big scary kind of prongs on. What else is quite scary for him? The dustbin man. Oh my gosh, if the rubbish man or the dustbin man comes along, you best believe it is a bad day. Sometimes we go for a hack and we check the bins beforehand, before I hack Casper on bin day, just in case we come across the... Sorry, I had a little hiccup then. I was so shocked about the bin man, just in case we come across the bin man, because not a big fan. Apart from that, he's pretty chill. So there we go. Oh, do you know what he also hates? Fly tipping. That's one thing that, like, we have had so much fly tipping in our area recently, and I'm like, why? Like, I don't know. It's one of my pet peeves. Anyone who litters or fly tips or just like, dumps a sofa in the beautiful countryside on the side of the road. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? Take it to the dump. Also, we're in the middle of nowhere. You'll probably live closer to the dump than us. And a lot of the times these places, they take it in for free. So I don't know why you're dumping it on the side of the road in the countryside. Sorry, that's my little mini rant for today's episode. Never litter. Even if it's chewing gum, don't litter. It's nasty. Don't do it. Anyway, so I feel like my audience is the last people that would litter. Like, I feel like we have such a lovely group of people that listen to the podcast. So I don't know why I'm saying this. If your friends litter or people litter, tell them off. We only have one planet Earth, guys. We've all got to share this world. Anyway, sorry, that was really deep. Let's move on. I feel like next we need to talk about Fossey, because even though you cannot see him, I can smell him right now. I don't know what he's had. One thing I have been really good at is we have not given him any people food. He has had no people food yet, apart from he's had a carrot because he's teething at the moment. Apparently that's quite good for them to chew on. And also, he might have licked a little bit of parmesan off the floor when we were cooking the other day. So apart from that, he's had no people food, which is good. So he doesn't beg at the table at the moment, which is brilliant. But anyway, I need to talk to you about his first trip to the vets with me. He's obviously already been to the vets because he's microchipped. He's had his wormer and flea treatment. I've got to actually give him some more in a few days' time on the day of recording this podcast. But he had his second vaccination yesterday on the day of recording, which is very exciting. Well, not very exciting for him because obviously, being jabbed with a needle ain't great fun. But I actually cannot believe how good he was. So Pulled up to the vets. It's actually really weird because the vets that he's at is the vets that I used to work at. Not the same practice, but the same kind of vets. Anyway, so I turned on up because it's weird. Because yeah, after working at small animals vets for like 2 years of my life, it's kind of weird because like I know, like I'm like, oh, I remember those vaccines. I used to stock them. Or, oh, I remember, that waste disposal bin. I used to, have to dispose of that. Oh, I remember, like just little things like that. Anyway, it was just very nostalgic for me because I spent so many years at that vet's looking after animals but never actually having a dog of my own, and now I have a dog of my own and get to take them to the vets, which some people will be like, why are you excited about taking your puppy to the vets? But anything about being a dog mum is very exciting. So anyway, then I took him in, just me and him. He was in his little car carrier. He was so good. We went and sat down in the waiting room. There was another dog in there going absolutely berserk. It was just, screaming, crying, barking, shivering. Poor baby was probably very anxious, knew it was at the vets and probably knew it wasn't going to be a very fun time. So I do not blame that dog at all. And like the owners were looking after it so well, but obviously that dog did not like the vets. So I was sitting there with Fossey being like, I really hope this doesn't wind him up. And they were like, no, you can still like come and sit next to us. So anyway, Fossey was obviously in his little carrier because he's not had all of his vaccines yet. So now we're just waiting for the second one to kick in. So I think we've got like 2 weeks to wait before he can, be Mr. Worldwide. But anyway, literally, because he's been listening to Pitbull. Anyway, that dog was going wild. Fossey, I thought, oh my gosh, he's going to get wound up. He's going to maybe start growling or barking or, making noises. But he was a sweet angel baby. He was just in his little car seat / bag / car carrier. So I had this it's a dog car seat, but it also doubles up as like a dog handbag at the same time. I mean, I say handbag very loosely because it is a big old bag. It looks like, a big travel bag, like I'm going for a sleepover somewhere. So anyway, I've been walking around with him in this bag because obviously he's not had all of his vaccinations yet, so he can't touch the ground. I can carry him places and he can go along in the handbag, but as long as, he's not licking other dogs or touching the ground, we're all good. So, anyway, what's quite funny, one thing I've noticed is when I do carry him around, a lot of people think he's like a little handbag chihuahua kind of dog. And the amount of times I've had to be like, oh no, he's just not had his vaccinations yet. Don't worry, he will get walked. He isn't a handbag dog. Don't you worry. This boy definitely has too much energy to be a handbag dog. So anyway, luckily, he was just so good at the vets. Good as gold, waiting in his little handbag. And then we went in and he got weighed. He got checked over. Apparently, he is in excellent health, which is great news. Checked his microchip. That is all good. And he also had his temperature taken, where the sun doesn't shine, and was also very good. He didn't even make a squeak when he had his vaccine done, which they kind of do it in their neck. And he was fine because the vet gave him some meat paste on the counter. So he was like, brilliant, just licking up all this meat paste, had no idea that it was, number one, having his temperature taken, and then number two, having his vaccine done. And he just, was as good as gold. Wasn't stressed, was a super positive and lovely experience for him. He also had like everything else checked, like his heart, his breathing, had his teeth checked. So all good in the hood for Fossey here, which is brilliant. So actually, as I said before, don't worry, we're being very, very strict and very, very cautious because about taking him places, because obviously we don't want him to get any diseases. We don't want him to get parvo as well. If you don't know what that is, search it up. There are some nasty videos online of dogs having some very bad toilet troubles with that. But anyway, if you don't know, puppies, if they haven't been fully vaccinated, they can't really go out and about unless they are carried or in a little dog handbag. So at this age that Fossey is at the moment, it is so important for his kind of mental development to look at a lot of things, take in a lot of information. So I have been taking him on walks in a dog handbag, which has been great fun. I mean, he's been loving it. He was not nervous, but he was a little bit cautious of cars to start with, which obviously is a good thing because we don't want him, running up to a moving car or anything like that. But he is, one thing I've learned, he is such a brave boy. It was great. Took him to town the other day, obviously in his handbag. So we walked up and down the street, saw my grandma was telling me like the list of all the things that's good to show him at a young age, and one of the things was a man in a hat and a man with a beard, which is literally my dad's go-to look every single day. So one thing that I don't have to worry about is him being aggressive or being scared of men, because he absolutely loves my dad. Although saying that, our donkeys, or Sally, we only have Toby now, but back when we had 3 donkeys, our donkeys used to be absolutely petrified of men, or would try and attack men by headbutting them. So, but they were always fine with my dad. So maybe they just thought that my dad wasn't a man. I don't know. I think they just, my dad's looking at me like, excuse me. I think they just thought that my dad was the food person, if I'm completely honest, because all the other men that the donkeys would see would either be the vet or the farrier, which obviously is not the nicest time, you know, getting their injections from the vet and then having their feet done by the farrier. So anyway, that is why. So yeah, one of the things I want to make sure is that Fossey has been well socialised. He is not going to be a COVID dog. So there's kind of like the phrase COVID dog, if you've not heard of it before. Obviously, there were a lot of puppies or dogs in COVID times where they weren't allowed out of the house. They couldn't go out and see new things, see other dogs, see other people. And because of that, they can have some behaviour issues. So Fossey is going to be the opposite of a COVID dog. I'm taking him around in his little handbag. He's looking at babies in prams. He's looking at somebody in a wheelchair the other day. Like, just lots of like things. Do you know what he saw the other day also? He saw a forklift. Feel like that's quite a big thing to tick off the list. I feel like I'm doing like a little bucket list of like showing Fossey the world. And I really did not think showing him a forklift would be something. But he was mesmerised by it. He was, to be fair, he is like a boy toddler, and I know a lot of boy toddlers are quite interested in forklift and machinery. So anyway, I mean, my brother was when he was a toddler. He loved forklifts, trains, tractors, all that fun stuff. So anyway, yeah, he has been having a great time. And one thing that was quite sad though, the other day went into our local pet store, and what I didn't realise is on like a Saturday morning they do like a puppy kind of meetup kind of thing where loads of puppies can go and they can meet other puppies and you can socialise them in a safe environment. Obviously this is for puppies who have had their vaccinations, so it was not for Fossey. But when I walked in, there was this old man and he was in there with this little puppy, and it was really sad because they were the only ones there. No other puppies had turned up, and I just thought that was so sad. And I was like, oh, I wish I could show you my puppy, but he's not had his vaccinations yet. Anyway, I thought that was really sweet but really sad at the same time. So there we go. All right, I have been waffling on for way too long. So how about we do a little bit of comment of the week? Also, again, I am pre-recording lots of podcast episodes at the moment. So the one that I am looking at or selecting the comment of the week comment from is the I'm a Traitor podcast episode. Also, I just want to apologise that we have had to re-upload the Chicken Chaos podcast episode because I had a lot of people being like, where's my comment gone? Or why has this been re-uploaded? I don't know why, but for some reason, that podcast episode, it just disappeared. I don't know where it went. I think it probably went to the place where all of the missing socks go and the TV remote goes. So anyway, it's down the back of the sofa somewhere. We just lost it. It just disappeared. So anyway, we have re-uploaded it, so don't worry. But anyway, yes, I'm a Traitor comment of the week. So the top one is from Palomino, and Palomino says, comment of the week, we want Davide. We need Davide. Guys, write your petition here. Let's start an army of people who want Davide on the pod. Also, I love the podcast and I've been listening to it since the first episode. I have a problem every day. I like listening to the podcast over 4 hours on the weekends or even more. Even when I'm at the stables, I accidentally say head collar or something. Oh yeah, because apparently British people are the only people that really call it a head collar rather than a halter, and that is one thing that I always get told off in my videos by people who aren't British, is me calling it a head collar rather than a halter. But it's just, we call it a head collar, guys. Anyway, also, I had a mini heart attack when I thought you'd not posted today. I kept checking every 5 seconds. Oh, I'm glad that you guys are like on it with the pod. So thank you, Palomino. Thank you for the petition. This petition has got a lot of likes and a lot of comments. Davide is doing a rude gesture at me saying that he does not want to be on the podcast. Maybe I think you got to keep commenting, guys. I think he's looking at me like, no, Esme, don't say this. I think you need to keep commenting. I think maybe for a special episode, maybe yeah, we'll have to think of some sort of excuse or some sort of special episode to try and get Davide back on. We'll see. Maybe we'll have to, I was going to say blur out his face, but you've technically done a face reveal. We did a face reveal on my Insta for Father's Day. That video did really well. Davide's like, I forgot about that. He didn't like it. He doesn't like being in front of the camera. He prefers being behind it. Okay, Isabella says, comment of the week entry. So I actually was talking about controversial topic of, I was talking about books and how you kind of coordinate them or organize them, because it's, in the book community, it's a big thing. So Isabella says, I coordinate my books by height. So, they're all with the books the same height roughly, and of course also by series. So when I said this comment, I was expecting it to be either alphabetical order or colour order, but I actually forgot that people do it by height order, because in the UK we actually have like a my tongue is out of control right now. We have a standardized. Yes, I said it. Standardized size of books. So all like paperback books are the same size. Obviously, a paperback and a hardback are going to be different sizes. But that's one thing, because obviously I'm on BookTok. I watch a lot of BookTok content. And that's one thing. I know in America, you guys have different sized books. That would drive me nuts. Like I love how all of my books are the same size. I mean, nowadays I am more of an e-reader kind of gal, because it's just cheaper than buying a book each time. But anyway, so yeah, by size is an interesting one, Isabella. And of course, also by series. My favourite genre are historical fiction and romance. Oh, that's cool. Love from Bella and her dog Clover in Canada. Oh, thank you, Bella. And yeah, shout out to all my Canadians out there. That is very cool. That is very interesting. Should we do some more? Oh my gosh, you guys have me having dyslexia and you guys having difficult names. It's not a good combo. I'm going to say it's Eliza with a J and then a C and then an H. So at the end they put Love Eliza. So I'm just going to say Eliza. So Eliza says, my books are semi-organised, but there is just random pony mags in there and your yearbooks. Oh, thank you. I feel like my yearbooks are also not like the standardised size of said book, so they are quite difficult to place. So normally I put them kind of at the end of my bookshelves. I also meant to have a riding lesson on Friday, but it got cancelled because of the weather. Oh, that's so disappointing. And I'm also hoping to get my first pony in the next 2 years. Oh, that's so exciting. Oh, well, I hope your next lesson is not cancelled, and I hope the weather does get better, because oh my goodness, yesterday and today I don't know what's happened. I know I keep saying, oh, it's autumn now, it's so rainy, it's so dark, it's so cold. No, we have just had like an Arctic blast from goodness knows where. I was sitting doing some editing, looking out the window, and we had literal snowflakes. I mean, the UK's snow is always puny and pathetic, so was it settling? No. But I was like, what on earth? It is snowing. We don't normally have snow, so that was wild. So anyway, I think that is probably enough comments for comment of the week, because everyone is basically just doing a petition for Davide, and Davide is not happy about it. So maybe I'll have to, feed him some chocolate and keep him, and some coffee and keep him happy, and maybe I'll be able to persuade him. I'll buy him lots of Toblerones. But anyway, talking about Toblerones and like Christmas, because yeah, normally every Christmas Davide gets Toblerone. Every Father's Day Davide gets Toblerone. Every birthday Davide gets Toblerone. But yeah, talking about Christmas, it is not long now until the London International Horse Show. And if you didn't know, guys, I'm actually really nervous, because I'm going to be in the Lemieux Masterclass on the Saturday. So I'm going to be, in the arena. I was going to say riding. Actually, I'm doing a discipline I've only done once, and that is carriage driving. So I'm going to be having a live carriage driving lesson for you guys to all watch, where, you know what? It's one of those things where I'm doing it for the plot. I'm doing it for the plot, because it is probably going to end in chaos. I'm probably going to embarrass myself, but you know what? Actually, my new phrase now is not do it for the plot. It's do it for the pod, because if something goes wrong, it's a great podcast story. And that's basically like every silver lining to everything that's gone wrong. Like, you best believe, as soon as that wardrobe hit me in the head and my brain could actually think again, and I wasn't just lying there stunned, I was thinking, oh, this is going to be on the podcast. This is going to be a podcast story. So now when bad things happen to me, I just think, you guys can laugh at me. Brilliant. Perfect. So anyway, on that note, I am probably going to wrap up today's podcast episode there. I really hope you enjoyed listening, especially as I really do probably need to take Foss to the toilet because he is still making some bad smells. My poor Davide is trapped right next to him and cannot leave in the closed small room. But to be fair, Davide has made bad smells before and I've had to be trapped in a small room with him. So actually this is almost payback. So anyway, thank you so much everybody for listening to today's podcast. Also, it is currently Black Friday when this goes out. So go and check out the Black Friday deals at redpostequestrian.co.uk and I will see you all next... Wait, what? Podmas. Oh my gosh, I haven't even said. If you didn't know, we are actually doing Podmas at the moment. I've been challenged, so I'm doing 2 podcast episodes a week. They're on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So Wednesdays are the slightly shorter ones where we have a little mini pod for you guys where I'm answering some interesting questions. So let me know in the comments what topics you would like me to chat about for Podmas. And also on Saturdays we have our normal feature-length episodes where I kind of update you on all of my embarrassing stories of my week. But anyway, I really do need to take Foss to the toilet now, so thank you for listening and I'll see you all next time. Bye.